Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And I just wanted to point out to you who these simps voted for that keep arguing with you in these commentaries. Alright? This is who Joe Biden really is, and this is the simps. This is what they make excuses for. They know this, but they forgive this history. Think about it. This is on C-SPAN.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
I learned a lot, and I learned that Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
If Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot. Is it because blacks are involved in Haiti?
It was old media that got him in trouble. Personal comments he made about another White House hopeful, Senator Barack Obama.
I mean, we got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
He can let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
You have this notion that somehow
Remember the Obama case?
You cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as
How
white
they argue for corporation
It's a long way
slavery.
until November. We got more questions.
We got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact
you
I
don't
want
have
something
options.
for my
You're
community.
supposed
I
to
would
do
love to
what
see
the
Take a look at my
VA
record,
don't
man.
tell
I
you
have
to
a
do,
record
and
that
what the,
is second
apparently
to
what the
none.
Democrats
The
tell you to do.
NAACP's endorsed me every
and the
time I've
media
run.
do what they tell you to do.
I mean, come on. Take a look at the record.
I gotta find who put this
Come on,
together.
baby.
I put
Let's
it
invest.
in the last I put it
Joe
in
has
the
a
last thing.
terrible history in the black community, and everybody just loves him because he's the fluffy old guy.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's run for president twice before, unsuccessfully. He's never before been the front runner. Now that he is towering over all the other declared Democratic candidates, his almost 5 decades in public life are getting some real scrutiny. On top of that list, his record on civil rights during his younger days as a U.S. Senator. CNN's Jeff Zeleny has exclusively obtained some letters written by Biden himself.
Joe Biden is coming back as a solo act.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
With his long record facing a new look under the spotlight of the 2020 campaign.
Gentlemen and ladies of the Senate.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25th, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race.
That's who these dudes are arguing in support for. This is it, folks. This is who these females robbed the Georgia election for. But the females don't care. It's the dudes you got to worry about because they're traitors. As Malcolm X says, they're traitors to us. The ones that are righteous living Afro brothers. Like y'all know, I don't vote. All right, but I'm not down for treason either. That's not the way you do it. So let's look at what's been going on. All right, we're going to look at what's been going on as we try to get through this rather rapidly. And I titled this the way I did, not really thinking about something else. And I'll give you that thought at the end of this, is because the epiphany or the evidence that is quoted and shown is so blaringly in your face and without question, when you match the words with the video and the excitement of the woman, that I had another thought outside of stupidity as to why this BAW bragged about rigging the GA election, the Georgia election, after understanding that Trump actually won. So when they shut down, they knew that they didn't have enough real ballots because Trump was ahead so much, and that's why they start shutting everything down. This plan B. So we're going to get into it real quick. All right. But I want y'all to understand that at first I thought this woman was crazy, but I don't think that anymore. I'll explain why. Just stick with me to the end. You have to see all the evidence as is laid out by the media and by Ms. Ruby herself. All right, before we get started in this part, this second segment, let's not forget, let's get the thumbs up for YouTube. This will be on Rumble, just in case YouTube decide to flag it. To donate to my channel, my Cash App and my PayPal me will be in the description box. And you know, we just do stuff. This channel just take those and do for the community of people that have less. All right, that's all this channel is about. All right, and many people that are old-time viewers understand that. So for you new-time viewers, if you want to know what this goes to, just type in my name, Reluctant Nabi, and the word favela, Favela, and you will figure out what I do. All right, or you can just look at my Instagram, Reluctant Nabi. All right, so let's roll on with this. In this, you have the daughter, the woman in braids, and this is going to become important. She's in charge of this. Ms. Ruby, I believe, is in the purple with her proud self. So let's roll on and take a look at what's been going on. Now, here we have what was given as evidence in a Georgia legal proceeding, and is given as evidence is because the people testifying are testifying through affidavits, which is evidence because they are swearing under oath as being eyewitness or a witness to what is stated in the affidavit. This is why these people read from the affidavit, then ask questions. Then they're asked questions, but they read from the affidavit first because that's what they are swearing to. All right. And because it's an sworn affidavit, it is evidence. So now this video evidence is evidence of what's going on, but it's going to be backed up by what Ms. Ruby is saying.
So according to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there's a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that.
On her phone.
What happens is everyone clears out, including the Republican observers and the press, but 4 people stay behind and continue counting and tabulating well into the night from that point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. And they will.
Apparently, that's Mrs. Ruby's daughter, who's in charge of everything. All right, we'll understand this for sure.
Continue counting unobserved,
later,
unsupervised, not in public view, as your statute requires, until about 1 in the morning. The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave, they went to the Central Tabulation Center.
The Republican observers in the press, they're in the bottom right corner, and they can't see anything because all the counters are past that pole, but they can't see anything from there. But they cordoned them off in the bottom right corner. This means that every vote that was cast in this place was illegal from jump.
And they got news from word from a news crew that in fact counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that in fact people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they've been told by the supervisors who are running this operation.
They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that in fact people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they've been told by the supervisors who are running this operation.
Okay, y'all understand? All right, so let's first do the video, and then I'll read the statement because this is kind of small writing. All right, and then we're going to get back to the second half of that video, and it will all make sense.
The rest anyway, because I was getting it in, I was getting it. So I have a new supervisor. Y'all want to know who my supervisor is over here? It's my daughter. But I just do what she say do. It's her show, baby. It's her show. I do what she say do, and I just get it done. I help her out, making it happen with Fulton County voters registration and election. We're making it happen. Yeah, okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.
All right. So, Fulton County registration and elections. She says she's making it happen, and proudly, right? And then she writes this. I posted this on my Facebook page, and I wanted to share it with the Instagram community. I am so proud of my baby because today we did something that change history, and we decided we will not be silent and allow evil to control this country. How ironic that the single BAWs, who's been the most harmful to the Afro community, are now, oh yeah, some of the times evil doesn't recognize itself. But here she goes. I was shocked, hurt, and deeply upset to see how many people supported evil, racism, and ignorance. Remember the clip I showed you of Joe Biden? Oh no, she wasn't talking about that guy who actually said stuff that came out of his mouth about us Afro people, but she's talking about the guy that actually did more for Afro people than any other president since Reconstruction. Right? And the ignorance while continuing counting many ballots for Donald Trump. I was almost in tears seeing how very few people wanted to support a black woman, because she's not black, become the first female vice president or excellent man named Joe Biden while counting ballots. So she's admitting that most of the ballots were for Trump. Thank God my baby had a plan, and today we put that plan into action after those Trump supporting and Fox News, though they won and left the building. After those Trump supporting and Fox News, though they won and left the building. My baby knew how racist Georgia was, and we knew how the vote was going to go, so we resorted to a plan B. And now you see the results of my brilliant baby. And that wasn't her daughter. Her daughter was part of a coordinated plan with Michigan, Pennsylvania. This was coordinated because everybody did the same thing at the same time. Only now you got eyewitness testimony telling on themselves, backed up by video evidence, right? Joe Biden is now the winner, and I'm looking at all of Georgia with a side eye because I know for a fact Georgia voted for Trump by the largest numbers. And if we didn't do what we did, he would have won Georgia. So she's looking at all the people in Georgia with a side eye because most of Georgia, to include the Afro people, Afro men, voted for Trump. And if they didn't cheat or commit perjury or commit fraud or commit treason, Trump would have won. I've seen and I noticed many black names who voted for Donald Trump. And that really bothers me because y'all the reason he won. Uh-oh, my baby told me it's going to be our own community who's going to make Donald Trump win. But see, here's the thing. The Afro men ain't a part of the black woman's community. Remember how they went in on Ice Cube? They ain't part of the black community. They said so themselves. And she was right because Donald Trump won, and it's very sad. I was nervous about Plan B, but I'm glad we did it because it saved the country. So she thought. And I will pray for forgiveness. And if people find out what me and my baby did, we could be in a lot of trouble and possibly jail. So I would like to ask everyone to delete all the pictures, videos, and live streams of me and the special ballots. The ones we used are special Joe Biden ballots that my baby created for us to win. They scanned excellent and increased Joe Biden's number and helped him beat Donald Trump. I spoke to Dominion people. They said, holy cow. I spoke to Dominion people and they said Plan B worked all across the country. This is an eyewitness or an accomplice saying that she spoke to Dominion people and said, hold on, she spoke to Dominion people and said Plan B worked all across the country. This means that it was a coordinated effort and her daughter was in on it and they were able to speak to Dominion from there. Special thanks to Stacey Abrams, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and Raphael Warnock. Don't worry, Raphael, you're going to beat that Caucasian BR because we did it for you and Joe Biden. Better give us a pardon for it, LOL. So she mentioned Dominion people saying that Plan B worked across the country. Stacey Abrams. All right, enough of that. Let's take a look at Plan B.
Rest anyway. I was getting it in. I was getting it.
She was getting it, all right. All right. Plan B.
So I'm Jackie Pick, and I'm here as a volunteer. I am a lawyer, but I'm not acting as a lawyer in this case. I'm just helping out the legal team here. And going to explain to you the evidence that we have from State Farm Arena here in Fulton County, which goes to what Ray was talking about in terms of fraud or misrepresentation. About 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm Jackie Pick, and I'm here as a volunteer. I am a lawyer, but I'm not acting as a lawyer in this case. I'm just helping out the legal team here.
This table, the black one,
going to explain to you the evidence that we have from State Farm Arena here in Fulton County, which goes to what Ray was talking about in terms of fraud or misrepresentation. About 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table.
At 8:22.
This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses?
Thank you for being with us. We heard from
the gentleman in the red
earlier.
So he just pulled one out.
That they've investigated this repeatedly, that they had a monitor on site the entire time.
So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses?
Thank you for being with us. We heard from the Secretary of State's office earlier, just a couple hours ago, that they've investigated this repeatedly, that they had a monitor on site the entire time, and frankly, this has been debunked for weeks by our Secretary of State's office.
I doubt you've seen the video.
Then I think the courts will probably be able to handle this once you present your evidence to them. As I'm aware, there have been about 40 lawsuits dismissed already. And according to the law of the state of Georgia, we do not have the power to submit alternate electors. The provision in the law is quite...
All right. Now, what they didn't tell you is it was not debunked. It was not debunked because they just found that out that night, and they went on to make that woman look like a clown. All right, I want y'all to understand.
So I'm Jackie Pick, and I'm here as
Now let's talk about SAGASIMP. What's going on here is them taking the USB drives. Remember how easy the Dominion systems were to hack? And since now we know it's a coordinated effort, thanks to Ms. Ruby, right? Now that we know it's a coordinated effort, that she was there, now you see them take the boxes. That's Plan B, and we know it happened across the country. The other thing that they did was they was taking the thumb drives out of the machines and passing them off and going and changing the votes on them. And this is where you use your SAGASIMP. All right? So in other words, the same BAWs that say they have our back will commit treason and fraud at a federal level to take away the rights of everybody that don't agree with them, while anything that they agree with don't make sense because they never really researched it. And often they support the people that have been the most egregious and dangerous to the Afro people as a community simply because they were paid off. And not with a lot. All you got to do is give them a little to betray the entire community, and they'll do it. This is why we need to get passports and go somewhere else, all right, to find a decent woman, all right? But just think about how many of these females were in on this, how many of these females supported it, and how many of them argue with you when you show them this video evidence or any other proof. They'll say it's not proof because they keep moving the goalposts as to what proof is. The whole system is crooked. If Joe Biden ends up being president, then you will know that from the Supreme Court all the way down, and we already know the media is nothing but liars. The fact checkers on all these websites are nothing but liars. We know this because they will take something and stretch it to be. Anytime you stretch something that is true and try to manipulate it to make it look like it's false, then you're a liar. The media has been lying to us. And anytime you mix in lies with the truth, then you're a liar. That is my opinion. That I've seen them mix in lies with the truth. I've seen them take Trump's stuff out of context. When I was clowning Trump, when I was arguing, calling out Trump, I didn't take none of this stuff out of context. I brought up history and stuff. In other words, I had beef with what he was doing with the Kaepernick thing. And I brought up the history and everything, how he didn't know history. Right? That's how you do it. But no, Trump been right about a whole lot of stuff that was way more important than that. Although that was important. All right, but I think he learned something too. But right now, these BL females are showing you who they are, and it's not good. Brothers, you better watch your back from them and their minion simps. You better watch your back from them and their minion simps. With that said, I'm out.